Dr. Veronica Anderson is an MD, and for her that means many dimensions. She's a surgeon, a mother, a black belt, and a two-time marathon runner, here to talk to you about your health, your happiness, and your world. It's Wellness for the Real World with Dr. Veronica.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Veronica, Wellness for the Real World. Today we're going to talk about what makes the world, period. We're going to talk about sex and religion and sex and spirituality and more sex and why people who are spiritual and religious have problems with sex, even though this is how we get here. This is how it all began. This is what animals do. This is what plants do. Sex, 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 sex. So I started off 2012 telling you how to have better sex, and people get all uptight about that, and nobody wants to talk about it, especially here in America. But we know Wellness for the Real World has such an international audience that you guys are going to really appreciate the show. The Americans appreciate it too, but we're a little bit prudish over here, you know.
Veronica, our next guest is Kismo Makubri, and I'm so glad she's here with us because I just love saying her name, Kismo Makubri. She writes Christian books for non-Christians, and her website is morethan-a-wish.net. Kismo Makubri, welcome to Wellness for the Real World.
Thank you for having me. I love the conversation. I really do.
You get to add in now your 2 cents. You are a writer of Christian books for non-Christians, which is kind of interesting because if you're a non-Christian, you're writing a Christian book for a non-Christian. I'm just wondering how you cross it over. But let's not talk about that.
Okay.
What do you think is going on here between spiritual people, religious people, and sex?
Well, since the topic is about religious leaders, kind of like to address that. I think that it's a matter of lack of integrity, whether it's directed sexually, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. I see that, it's one thing to say you believe something. It's another thing to practice it. To me, spirituality is an action and religion is a belief.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay. So they're practicing a belief, not a spirituality, because spirituality does not allow you to cross certain borders. You're unable to do it. Your conscious spirituality is so high, whether it's a law or a rule, doesn't matter. You are aware that it might hurt someone, it might deter someone, it might cause confusion, and you won't do it.
Okay, so my question to you is, I know you're a Christian who writes for non-Christians.
Right.
So therefore, do you feel that there is that people who are celibate and abstinent and wait until a particular time that's laid out in a particular book, that those people are somehow higher than those people who choose not to do it the way that's in your religious text?
No.
Wow.
Because you can be spiritual. You can be spiritual on all kinds of different levels. You don't, sex is just one level of spirituality. So it can be a separate entity. So I think that, spirituality is within. It's another component of living life with other people and having an understanding with God. He did create sex, and he wanted you to have pleasure with it, and that's okay. But disrespecting others is not okay. Children, not okay.
Yes. Well, Kismo, I love your name too. Did your mom really give you that name?
Kismo's a nickname that I got when I was producing television, and it just kind of stuck. And I tried to get it changed, but everyone loves Kismo.
No, keep it.
The name.
We vote you keep it.
Well, thank you.
Well, Kismo, I appreciate your insight. And what's the website, Russell?
Morethan-a-wish.net.
Morethan-a-wish.net. Writes Christian books for non-Christian. Former TV producer.
Right. I try and present a view. I try and present a view and not be like present a religion. that's why I say that.
I got it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And I like that. I appreciate that you feel that this is your way and you don't think everybody else has to adhere. Wellness for the real world. It's always fun whenever we talk about sex. Dr. Veronica, IEYE, MD. Follow me on Twitter. Say what you want to say to me. I like it. It gives me fodder for the next show. Russell, thanks again. Wellness for the real world with Dr. Veronica. Join us next week.